best-of-5 series. Remember, the first to win 3 will earn the victory today. We're going to Cursed Hollow, and the Monkeys actually picked this Battleground. I feel like between these two, if I were to say who would pick this Battleground if they had to pick a Battleground, I would say Team Liquid, but the Monkeys bring it out instead.
Lost Vikings coming. Just kidding.
I hope so.
No, it's not, that's not going to happen. I don't believe. It's actually funny. Hazu was asked on his personal stream a while ago, just, I think last week, if we're going to see the Vikings again. And he just started laughing and was just like, well, probably not. They're not really part of the meta at this point. Cursed Hollow was the map when Liquid always chose Vikings, or always threatened them, oftentimes forced a ban against the Vikings. But I have to agree with him here. I would be very surprised if they would go down that path. It also feels a little bit too gimmicky. If they would go up against an opponent where they say, hey, we're an underdog here, we need a weapon, I could see it. But they themselves feel as the favorite, as the better team, so they should go with a standard version of the draft and say like, hey, if we go toe-to-toe with an opponent with a standard composition, we are the better ones. They are the ones who have to bring something out to surprise us.
There's too many heroes right now in the meta that are too good at wave clear, in dealing with their waves efficiently, but also having kill potential, right? If you actually play the Vikings, you can't passively soak anymore, and you can't be aggressive with them, that's for sure. You're going to get picked off. I mean, even heroes like Zeratul can double soak. When you get level 7, you're able to clear out those lanes, so Vikings just fall off so hard that it's really difficult to even get much value out of them.
Now, what I expect is that we are going to see an immediate ban on Abathar on the side of Monkeys. They really don't like going up against the hero. Liquid, on the other hand, they are comfortable with Abba. And Cursed is a great hero, great map for the hero. So that could shake up our bans for sure, since I would expect that if the Monkeys don't ban the hero out, that we are very likely to see him make an appearance here. So I wouldn't really expect a ban on Team Liquid side, but I would be a bit surprised if the Monkeys don't go for it.
Especially with how much they hated Avatar last season. Man, they were banning that character every map, it felt like.
Yeah, outside of Tomb, they banned him everywhere.
All right, so Hanzo banned. Usually when you have Battlegrounds that have very strong objectives that are easy to clean up, like double boss plays or Battlefield of Eternity with the Immortal, Hanzo needs to rise in priority when it comes to your picks and bans. Team Liquid showing that with their ban. And there's that Abathar you were asking for.
And that allows Genji. So Genji banned out in the last game, now immediately taken here.
Who's a Genji player? Will that be Hasu? Because it used to be Nurok, but obviously Nurok's gone to support now.
I mean, at this point, there's still a bit of overlap in the hero pool, but they could also like put Arcana onto it, but you would expect Hasu to take the hero for now. Dehaka taken, so going straight into a global here. Drafting in game number 1 was great from the Monkeys, so I'm curious to see how they're going to, if there's going to be a bit of an X factor that we have now on the map. Because Cursed Hollow, interestingly enough, isn't really a map that we have seen a lot, neither at the mid-season Brawl, nor last season or last phase of HGC in Europe. And it was a European staple. It was the most played map for a long, long time in the European competitive scene. So that has changed, and now with the Monkeys bringing the map out, maybe they have something on the 4 and 5 that they can throw out there. And Nubarak even.
Oh, Nubarak coming out there. So Malfurion actually passed up on as we get the double tanks coming out first off. First off, your side laner with Dehaka and then a Nubarak. Typically we see Malfurion picked up between these first 3 rotations, so a bit of a change up.
I mean, for me, most of the priority of a Nubarak stands really out here, since I don't think that's necessarily something that Liquid would contest. So that is a very, very early Nubarak pick.
Looks like they just want quick setup. Cocoon, find a target, blow it up, so I'm assuming a little bit more damage will be coming later on here. But very curious.
I mean, every time, like, as we are now seeing Malfurion not taken and we have a Nubarak claimed, that highlights Stukov a bit. You can go with a good engage into a silence. You have the same setup if you're hitting a Cocoon. It really helps you when you're trying to make the rotations onto solo lanes and you set something up with Cocoon, but you want to have a lot of burst damage with the setup. So I think we could see a Li Ming later on in the draft. We have seen Jaina starting to make more of an appearance in at the mid-season Brawl, so I feel that's going to transfer over into the European meta as well. There's a couple of choices in mages or with burst damage that you could really throw out with the setup that Monkeys are already trying to run. But it's definitely going to be difficult to just blow Team Liquid up, because you have a Blaze and Muradin now on their side, so that's pretty hit point heavy.
That's someone else who jumped up at the MSB a little bit more. Johanna was super popular due to her wave clear and because she really felt natural in the meta, being able to force fights how you want but survive them. Murden also brings that element a little bit. He lacks in the wave clear compared to others, but the ability to kill him falls dramatically compared to a lot of the tanks they have available to him, with the ability to jump out, of course the armor there, and then his avatar that comes in. So Team Liquid looking a little bit tanky here. Also, you need someone that can check bushes on this battleground if you want to rotate down the tributes, and Murden provides that for you.
Yeah, and if you're up against the Haga face-checking bushes, it's really, really dangerous. There's a video out there.
You need to be careful. We need to make another video sometime.
Yeah, but they lost my Doomhammer.
Did they lose your Doomhammer?
I don't know. It's not here anymore.
I'm sure.
I'm actually a little bit salty because, like, my Doomhammer and me, we were like...
Josh probably took it home and framed it. Caldor touched this. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's got his fingerprints on it.
That's exactly what happened.
So there's that Malfurion ban.
Yeah.
Team Liquid needs to consider what they want to take out here.
I mean, it's also interesting that Malfurion is even banned out because at this point you would have expected at least Liquid to pick it up in that 2-3 rotation with Monkey. We were already surprised that the Monkeys were willing to let it go. Now Team Liquid opted in for Blaze and Murden over to Karazim. So we are actually seeing supports being banned out here quite heavily.
The silly Stukov up for that combo you were talking about earlier.
Deckard as well, of course. Yeah, Stukov on the side of Monkeys. You can, I feel, set also a lot up with Deckard Kane here. I think that's something that Liquid is banking the hopes on as well. So there's still a lot of supports around. You don't really have these support chokes anymore that we had 20 heroes ago, where you could really just like choke out cleanses, for example, and then try and exploit that. So it's not really the same game anymore. But you can definitely limit your opponent options and try to destroy some of the synergies that would be available with certain combos.
Now for me, I'm missing a little bit of boss control. Sure, you have Murden can kind of stand around the boss, be a bit of a nuisance, could jump it if he needs to, and then of course, yeah, Blaze who can be his own annoying self. But are we maybe getting a Falstad here from Monkey? They're gonna go for a global composition?
We have seen a lot of Falstad at the mid-season brawl, and Falstad has actually been really strong and really fit well into the meta. And I think it could be a Falstad for sure, because outside of that, what you also have with Falstad is you meet that global. So you have the Haka on one side, you can pick Falstad on the other, you have a bit more control with Gust. So there's definitely a lot of tools that you have available with that.
Now, of course, there is always a concern of Genji in a Falstad, but we've seen it from a lot of teams. Just gotta play a little bit more careful. Just make sure that you're around when Genji one's coming for that dive, and then of course have really good Mighty Gust.
As we are talking about Falstad on Liquid side, they run Genji, so that's not a problem that they have to concern themselves with.
Yeah, totally. All right, well.
But that's actually a good point that you bring up, because what surprised me at the mid-season brawl was that despite Genji being on the opponent's side, a lot of teams were still willing to run Falstad and did it well. So you can really tell that the players that played Falstad started to really adapt heavily towards that threat that Genji brings to the table. You couldn't really run him on the solo lane as much as you could in the past, but they were oftentimes then in the rotation, and that made it a little bit safer for Falstad to go up against Genji.
And it made it much easier for him to get that marksman stack, so he becomes that late game terror. And speaking of Falstad, so Uther and Falstad will come in for Team Liquid. Now they get a little bit of boss control.
So one of the reasons of how Falstad has been run against Genji, just to come back on this while we're seeing him played here, you saw more in the rotation, and then his global was used to gank the side lane, to just simply fly up, make it a 2-for-1 and try to get the kill there, instead of having him on the solo lane and then flying him to the rest of the team, because if he's isolated, then he was still very vulnerable to those quick rotations and jumps on him and those gank setups. But now Falstad is in, so that gives a bit more boss control. We have also with Uther the combo with the Divine Shield and a Dragon Blade that can be used here. And now it's time for the Monkeys to get a bit more damage in. And again, we've been talking about mages earlier, so let's see if we're going to see one of these Limings, maybe a Jaina here, if they are going to try and play around that Nubarak factor here. Then again, they don't have Stukov in this setup. They actually opted in for Rhaegar, so it gives them a little bit less control through Lurking Arm.
It's going to be a Zeratul for the final pickup. I don't know if I like it as much. I mean, Zeratul, of course, Q build, you move into it, slashing constantly, level 16, finally get that power spike, so you want to move in that late game, then find those VPs, and then of course if you hit a nice VP, you got Salvo to follow up into, so the damage is definitely there.
If they can snipe Falstad, it would be great for them. So there's it doesn't seem to have as much synergy as the last draft that they were running on Tomb had. I mean, there's still a lot of tools that they can utilize, and Zeratul is always a bit of an X factor, but then at the same time, you have on Team Liquid players that are extremely experienced, and as long as they don't just like run it down mid with Falstad being isolated and being picked off time after time, I feel Liquid has what it takes to really dominate the team fights. They have the combo with the Divine Shield into Dragon Blade available if you want to go for a Bunk alone is like an added layer. Then you have Falstad with the Mighty Gust. There's a lot of great tools on the Liquid side. So it comes down to individual play and execution of what the Monkeys are going to try and pull off here.
I think if it wasn't for Phoenix, I would be way more in favor of Team Liquid. I'm still in favor for them, but Phoenix brings this element of you can make a mistake against him and you get punished heavily for it when he's able to get that teleport out, the movement speed that he has available to and his talents. You get kited pretty aggressively, and if you use your mobility to get on top of him, you can get rid of a target pretty quickly.
I mean, to be fair, if you look at the two drafts right now, the one element that stands out is that we have two Protoss heroes on the side of the Monkeys, and as a former StarCraft 2 player, I can tell you that's extremely imbalanced, so that is a problem for sure.
The Zerg might be dead weight, though. Let's go ahead and go straight into it here on the left side for Team Liquid. In the blue, Muradin are being played by Sport Billy, Nurok on Uther, Hasuabs on Falstad, Ethernal on Blaze, and Arcaner will show off some Genji.
And over to the right side of the map, we have a lot of monkey business going on as we see at this point. Crosby on Phoenix, we have Maka on Dehaka. Alex the Prodigy finds himself on Zeratul, Ramabala, of course on the main tank, and Nuburak for him. And Splendor, last but not least, on Rega.
So Amelia Alex will be the one to keep an eye on here, playing Zeratul.
Alex has actually played a lot of Zeratul on his personal stream in Hero League, has really grinded out a lot of games with him and been quite successful with the hero too. So this is definitely one of the... I mean, I really feel a lot is going to be hinging on him. He's the one who needs to create either opportunities or confirm kills, let's say against Falstad, for example. But you can already tell that Liquid is opting into a bit more burst damage here, even with Muradin going into his quest talent on level 1, having Falstad with the Wingman, so that allows them to snipe a few of the camps. And Splendor's again in trouble right at the beginning of the game here.
Splendor able to sneak out though with 1 HP, and here comes the drag from Make as they try to focus down Nurok. He'll be able to put down a heal so he gets a little bit of armor there, and they're able to escape, but you're right, man, Splendor. It seems to be the focus here for Team Liquid.
Yeah, and giving the first game, that doesn't really surprise me too much. Now, the problem with Rega oftentimes is that you start to play a bit more aggressive than you maybe should, and you jump in too deep. And Liquid seems to be looking for that and trying to take that advantage of those positions. And Splendor needs to be careful here. I mean, he is the one that is motivated in the series because he's going up against his old team, and of course he has something to prove here. But that oftentimes puts you in a spot where you feel you have to make a play, where you want to be the person to engage, and you want to make the one play that sets your team ahead. So he needs to be careful that he doesn't overdo it here. Same is true for Maka, who's also in trouble. Splendor keeps the heals up. Good zoning. And that actually turns out in favor of the Monkeys. There was a lot of aggression going on, and they have to back, but they still get the camp, and Liquid trying to interrupt it, invested a lot of time and energy into trying to make that happen, or at least get a kill out of it, but at the end they walk away with nothing.
That was definitely a very tough battle that proved no result, and I say that. And Alex the Prodigy goes to a blink over the wall, and Arcaner follows him up, finds a first blood. Poor Alex is picked on.
Yeah, Alex going down here. Now, they have the camp in the mid lane. The question just is, how much can that really do for them? We have on the side of Uther now going straight into his level 1 here. I mean, at this point, he's just trying to get his own stacks together with a Hammer of Lightbringer. But yeah, the cooldown reduction for him would of course be absolutely fantastic on the Hammer here. And the stuns later on against, especially after Benediction on 16, against Zeratul are going to be pretty strong.
You really do need those stuns against Zeratul.
Sorry?
You really need those stuns against Zeratul. Whenever you are able to find that, Zeratul, if he ever gets stunned out, he gets deleted immediately here. Especially with that W build coming in from Volstead, by the way, as he moves into the level 4. After the level 1 Bride as well, getting that damage popped on up. Sport Billy holding down the bushes here as the tribute will be spawning, but Team Liquid already has their Giants pushing the top lane. The same to be said for the Monkeys in the bottom lane, but with that global being available for both teams, shouldn't be too much of a factor.
I'm curious to see how the Monkeys are going to deal with these situations now, because Team Liquid, in my opinion, has the better synergy in their draft, and I still wait for the Monkeys, how they are going to run this from a macro perspective. They're currently having the global at the bot lane. That's of course mirrored by Team Liquid, so pretty standard that we have the two heroes just trying to push that out. Question is one of them going to join the fight at the top anytime soon? And we have Zeratul starting to go up against Genji in the mid lane because Team Liquid was still soaking there.
Still soaking it up. Finally, Blaze goes with the channel here. Stun comes out, and that's going to be a Jeff potion afterwards as the Nubrak is the focus. Remember, however, buying some time to heal there from Slender. And Sportbilly gets knocked up, and his jump was actually cancelled.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage against him, but Arcana is now back to business, and we have Zeratul just now coming in. Again, the focus on Splendor as he goes low, but we have Nurok in trouble, and Alex is able to confirm the kill. Uther goes down, Splendor on the channel. The Haka has come in too, is looking for the drag, can't find it. Interrupt a little bit too late. Fawcett still getting value at the bot lane, but the immediate pressure play to the top as the Monkeys are looking for a tower.
Really good play there from the Haka, being able to follow up, come in at the right time and find the pick. Rimmer's low on health, trying to escape. Heal comes out from Splendor, and Rimmer is able to get away. That's twice now. That bug should have been squashed.
Yeah, and Splendor definitely with a clutch plays here. Not only getting that cleanse in at the last moment, but also using the heal here. And that was just so close. As you said, Rimmer should have fallen there for sure, but Splendor kept him alive. So we've talked a little bit about him maybe a bit too eager with some of his positioning, but he was definitely the linchpin here that made sure that Anubarak did not fall.
Quick update on stacks here, as you just saw. Bribe grabs Hasselab's at camp in the middle lane. They want to have that pushing in there. Stormbolt for Sportbilly is currently sitting at 9 stacks he needs before he gets at Pierce. Immediate aggression here in the middle lane once again, while Rimmer takes the brunt of the damage, able to burrow charge away. And with Team Liquid having a nice little lead and experience, they should have a little bit of wiggle room here to get that middle wave pushing in, while Hasselab's deals with the bottom side. Tribute immediately ready for pickups, and the Monkey's going to go ahead and give it away.
And you could actually see how we had Rimmerbola immediately being on the healing totem, so that it was really difficult for Genji to go in with an auto attack and take it down. So that helped them to keep it in place a little bit longer. Again, the disengage here. Splendor trying to wave clear slightly already as the camp moves through. Liquid still holds the experience lead. Alex is starting to move in, looking for a chance to flank.
Here he comes. Goes in, gets a nice little cleave there. Arcaner will take that damage, but with Nurok giving the heal is just on fine. Turrets actually don't fall yet. Team Liquid unable to push that in as much as they want, and so the Monkeys are actually even in experience, which is going to be good for them as we head to the next tribute. Based on timing, Team Liquid may have a small window where they get their heroics. The Monkeys should be able to close that gap pretty quickly.
At the same time, we're having Hazops on Falsa actually going into a full Lightning Rod build, so specking full into his W and making sure that he has the charge up on level 7 now, so not
full Thor build is what we call it nowadays.
Thor build?
Thor build.
Okay.
You saw the last movie, man.
Yeah.
Lightning God now.
Okay, the Lightning God is there. So the Birdman currently with his Lightning Rod, and of course foregoing Boomerang here, which takes a little bit of the wave clear possibilities away from Falstad, but it allows him to go more toe-to-toe in one-on-one setups, and also, of course, be a little bit safer against Zeratul and really threaten him once that Alex starts to make the move for him.
All right, Monkeys move forward, trying to get 10. Haka's doing that in the top lane. They should be able to slow down this grab pretty easily, with Rimmer being able to drop to the Impale. Sportbilly is already tanking a little bit around this tribute. It's only a 1-to-1 though, so no one has to force anything here. There's no curse coming off this tribute. So we'll play nice and slow, nice and patiently, while Alex is lurking in the shadows.
X-Strike also chosen for Genji, not going for the synergy with Uther's Divine Shield, but it allows him to dodge cocoons even if they do it right. Talking about doing things right, here comes the Ancestral after the cleanses out. The Salvo also with the damage. Divine Shield already on Arcana. It's Genji, but the entire attack here, Falstad in trouble. Hazops is trying to get out, but he's too slow. He dies, Void Prison set up, and here come the Monkeys. They're going in, the stuns! The damage! Uther down, and they're still following it up with another kill, trying to get Billy.
Really well played there by Monkeys. First off, they allowed for Dahaka to come in, get the isolation on top of Uther. Divine Shield was used, and the moment they saw a target coming in for the dive, they dropped Cocoon and left Falstad all by himself on an island. Monkeys easily cleaned up Hasselabs, follow up with the VP, get a couple of kills, and now the map is opened up for them. Beautiful play for them, and great heroic usage.
Yeah, it was really well coordinated, and also a great Void Prison towards the end where they just set it up for additional kills. Everyone was just gathering around, waiting for it to be over. The follow-up by Rema Baller was there. And Liquid is again suffering a little bit early on in the game here. Now keep in mind, we saw a similar situation in the previous game, but Liquid really came into their own once that the mid game and the late game hit, and then carried the game to victory. But right now, the Monkeys are definitely the team to watch out for, and they are continuing that pressure.
Team Liquid should be able to fight over this tribute while Dahaka pushes in the top lane. Some experience is starting to be missed by Team Liquid. They wanted to be near the bottom lane in case Monkeys did open up that fight completely while Sport Billy went in for an engage with the Stormbolt. They do have positioning set up on this tribute, so they should be able to channel. It's a matter of whether or not Monkeys want to move over and try to grab it. It's looking like it's going to be a no, as Dahaka is still pushing that top lane, so we are tied 2-2 in tributes.
Yeah, it's good zoning that we saw from Team Liquid, and the Monkeys are just simply saying we don't need this right now, so let's try and get value on the other side of the map and then play around it. Both of the teams are now heading for the boss, bottom left and top right. But this is still a pretty decent setup here for the Monkeys. Liquid, of course, trying to come back into that. But I have to give some credit to especially Alex in this case. We talked a lot about how on an individual level they have to perform well with this draft, and currently they're doing exactly that. The burden of execution is largely on them, and they are using it quite nicely here. So we have a boss even time. They're timing it around the tribute spawn. This is the situation that they wanted because they have 13. Liquid is unwilling to attack without level 13 talents, so that should be an easy tribute for the Monkeys, and if they time the boss with it, they're gonna get max value out of their boss.
Solid macro play here from the Monkeys. They go ahead and grab the boss, wait for the minion wave to get the tribute, and that is going to be the curse, so it's going to work out perfectly for them. Team Liquid, however, do get a 4 to the bottom side. That is pushing in there, so they should be able to have decent defense.
But I'm loving the decision making here. Being willing to just wait around the boss area, not capping it, waiting for the tribute, giving the tribute before up because you know that the next one will hit while you have level 13. They've done everything right in this situation, and now they're currently reaping the rewards. They're starting to move down through the top lane, and this is really where they want to have a keep. And especially with Zeratul, if he gets a good Void Prison off against the rest, they should be able to make that happen.
I mean, it's a solid power blow for the Monkeys for sure, but I love how Team Liquid softened the blow by grabbing the Night Camp in the middle lane, has that pushing in, the boss in the bottom, means they can focus all of their efforts here on the top. Here's that VP you're asking for. Sport Billy trying to watch out the stun, drops down the Avatar, goes in, drops down the hammers as well, and with the bunker coming out, the salvo will be negated.
Yeah, the salvo not really getting too much here, but the boss is still going through. Now, if the Monkeys don't get that keep, that would be a huge win for Team Liquid. They need to get that damage in because we have seen Liquid get value on the rest of the map, and currently it looks like Liquid is going to easily defend that.
That they are. Dropping down the Lightning Rod Strokes. The Thor build is working out for Falstad. The rest of the team focuses down the boss. The keep still stands. And we also have the middle and bottom fort still up for Team Liquid.
No, that's definitely... Monkeys are still ahead by 11. So they still are ahead in this game. But I have to stress this again. This is a really good defense on Liquid's side because the setup with Void Prison and then the salvo didn't really work out as intended. It was a little bit awkward because I feel like originally the idea was set a Void Prism up so that we can follow up on it, and then when it was actually executed, they changed and started to say, hey guys, we can kill Muradin here. And then they started to drop resources into a Muradin kill. That never happened because we saw Muradin jump out. He wasn't threatened there, but then you are already looking at cooldowns that you used. You don't have them available for the team fight anymore. Liquid themselves only dropped the bunker, which was completely fine, and then they can defend. So from Liquid's perspective, this could have been way, way worse at this point. So they are probably going to say, okay, this is a good step for us. Let's just make sure that from here on out we're not making any mistakes.
Out of curiosity, did you see where the web went during that fight from Anubrak?
I actually didn't.
Yeah, because I think that's what really brings the entire comp together and why I'm actually enjoying it more than what I thought when I first saw it in the draft. The web being able to stop Blaze allows for that VP salvo combo to come out so the bunker doesn't pop in.
Yeah.
It just felt like the web was not used the way they were looking for it in that team fight in the top left. And had it actually hit on top of Blaze at that moment, that would have been one of the 2 kills.
Now, the thing is, the Monkeys lost out on an opportunity, as we said before, but they are still in the driver's seat. And they are now going for that level 16. And they are aggressively pushing that bot lane right now, whereas Liquid is trying to catch up in experience. And that gives the early level 16 over to the Monkeys, and now they can start to hunt opponents. And they are starting to move in already.
Now looking over to Muradin, 15 stacks here on his quest, getting close there. The level 13 coming online for Falstad's Wild Thunder Strikes, and we're going to see if we can get 16. Typically, you get that cooldown reduction, so we'll see if that comes in for them. If you're wanting to get away, you can kind of look at Afterburner, but we haven't seen that in a long time from Falstad's. Looking over to Monkeys now, they continue to shark around and deal with this experience. They can't really find an opportunity to pick off Team Liquid as they play safe and play in the shadows. Look at Genji here in the top right, holding down the bush. As soon as Monkeys step up, they back away.
Yeah, Liquid is going to let this one go very likely here. I mean, To be honest, they could actually try and fight for it. The problem is positioning. Monkeys already have it, so Liquid have no problem letting this one go because they already have 2 tributes. The opponent don't have any. But there's a fight, and a big one at that. So the Monkeys gave up the position around the tribute and instead try to go for the team fight here. Starting to fall back now, but that allows now Team Liquid to start to move in, and Sportbilly is already at the forefront of that.
And it is going to be the afterburner pickup here for Falstad. Give him that extra movement speed whenever he uses a barrel roll. Drag comes out, will hit Genji. Divine Shield has to be used. Sportbilly goes in with a jet propulsion, but a Nubarak in this front line gets Cocoon off.
Yeah, and there comes the salvo, and it only hits the front line, as you already said. So now we have the 16s on both sides, but Liquid is pushing aggressively, and they get the kill. Warp had been used earlier. There's a quick stun. Down goes Phoenix. Mark is in trouble. That's not what the Monkeys wanted here. Not at all. The first kill was confirmed. The second one comes in, and this is going to be a curse as Team Liquid is going for the tribute. The Monkeys a bit too aggressive, giving up the position around the tribute to try and get a kill in the mid lane, and then it backfires as they are on retreat and get interrupted, get taken down. Curse is dropped. Liquid takes the experience lead, and that's going to increase by a lot now.
A stunning follow-up there from Team Liquid, jumping down the bunker after dropping down some flames, weakening Monkeys, and then going in for the jet propulsion, getting that pick off, and then of course Genji finding those kills.
The master of bad puns strikes again.
That wasn't a bad pun, that was just a new word.
A stunning follow-up as Blaze hits the jet propulsion and stuns Makaka.
I mean, it was stunning.
Yeah,
take it as you will, Caldor. Take it as you will. Well, harassment already on this keep in the bottom right corner. There is a push in the top lane with the Giants coming in, so Team Liquid can demand the attention of Monkey here in the south, and that should buy them some time here to see whether or not Dahaka's at their top lane. Once Dahaka clears out the top lane, they can decide if they want to move in for the fight, but they decide not to. They have a few seconds left on this curse, and if they would like, they can peel back and maybe look towards their boss, and they're thinking about it.
Yeah, Liquid is definitely controlling the late game so far in this series. We've seen it on Tomb, and now seeing it on Cursed Hollow. Those are the fights that they take. Here comes the push again. Ancestral is being used preemptively, okay, making sure that they're going to get that. No boss taken. Liquid trying to bait, of course, that fight here, but they don't get the kill that they were really looking for. We have seen some heroics already committed though, and especially Ancestral is something that you lose out on. Now the question is, how do the Monkeys react? Do they go for their own boss, or are they going to try and contest this one? And they are going up to the top right now.
Yeah, that was certainly a trade Team Liquid loves to have. A Stormbolt for a cleanse and an Ancestral healing. Sure, some damage is coming in to follow up. The Monkeys definitely losing out on that exchange. Now, good news for them is they do get their VP up, so they go in and move for their boss as well, and when that Team Liquid will grab theirs, so they'll be able to have a little bit of counter change. And do remember, the Monkeys did get top left push in, there is no wall there, and that fort is bruised, so Team Liquid needs to make a decision. They decide they're going to go for the aggressive play. They grab Giants and jump straight on the keep.
Liquid apparently want to go for a game here. They're already pushing this in, and if they take this and the boss goes straight for the core, they can maybe even end it. But there is still a Void Prison. I don't know if they have what it takes to really go for a game in this situation, especially if Muradin falls. Here comes the Avatar, and a bunker is out as well. The salvo still gets some value. Rema Baller surviving for now. The keep is down, and now it goes to the core, but there's the Void Prison in the back already as they're buying a little bit of time. Drag comes in, Eternal's in trouble. If he goes down, that would be a nightmare for them. Divine Shield is out though, keeping him alive. Hazrov's barely escaping.
Team Liquid has to back up now, and they know it. Sportbilly gets picked off, but Thornon's low. Should have the jet propulsion to start escaping here. The top left boss did push forward, and it will get that keep. So Monkeys are able to hold. They prevent their core from falling, even though they'll take a little bit of damage here. Team Liquid, however, backs up. They have a slight experience lead. Ooh, a big drag connects. Luckily, Uther's here, brings out the cleanse, and Arcana is able to get out.
Yeah, boss is now through the keep, so this is a keep for a keep and a bit of change on the core. 64% on the Monkeys core at this point. The boss down here is not going to get too much value for the Monkeys, but they have taken the keep out. That was the most important part of the entire setup here. So this could have been worse. Liquid made a call without a talent advantage to go for the core here. They were trying to snipe the keep early at the bot lane and then move in. It was a risky call for sure, because the problem is you have Zeratul against you, and you have Rema Baller on Nubarak. So you have a Cocoon and a Void Prison against you, and that can slow down any approach for core and also just stop them. And that's exactly what happened there. But we still have a situation in which the Monkeys have lost a significant amount of hit points on their own core that allows for... Nah, I actually don't think that you can really go for a backdoor attempt here. You have Gus to create some space, but I don't think that the heroes that Team Liquid run really set themselves up for a good core attempt.
Especially against a Zeratul with VP being available. Cocoon comes out, you drop Falstad right in the middle of his lightning rod.
If we had Greymane over there, you know, Sonya, anyone that is really
Artanis.
yeah, exactly.
You need to take that seriously, because Artanos on a core is a serious threat, okay?
Yeah. Okay, if the entire game was only just attacking a single core, then you would be right. But there's a little bit more to it.
Exactly.
No, but there are definitely heroes that could have made that a lot more dangerous. But as is, I don't think that the 64% on the Monkey's core are a big issue. Unless, of course, catapults at any point in the late game reach it.
Well, both teams hit level 20. A tribute spawns in the top right corner in 6 seconds. Team Liquid set up already. They have control of vision as well. They have to be aware there is a camp pushing in the middle lane that will take out their 4 if left uncontested, but they definitely want to fight around this area. No major immediate need to stop the tribute, though. It's only one, which will put Monkey at 2.
The Storm talents that we have are amazing right now for the Monkeys, and they're already getting that to good use. Here comes the salvo, gets the damage in. Gust Wind Tunnel has been used here. Crosby, his 20 pops, and he's get attacked immediately. Even the Ancestral doesn't hit, and down he goes. Great kill by Team Liquid. It's exactly what they needed, and all of a sudden the Monkeys are on the run, and that is just Genji popping off with his 20.
Alex able to buy some time with that Void Prison, trying to get a cleave there as well, but Team Liquid able to chase them down. Monkeys have to back away, and Team Liquid will grab the tribute. Monkeys only lose 1, but with VP being down, they do have to be concerned. If Team Liquid were to get aggressive here or find another pick, they can move to the bottom lane and maybe start looking at that core with VP being down. Team Liquid taking the chance to rotate aggressively to the bottom side. They're looking for these giants. They would love to find someone to take off.
Yeah, Liquid has gotten a bit of map control through that approach now. They still have to send someone in the middle because there's a big double wave. Really? I'm not sure they can. In a 4 versus 5 with 16 seconds on Phoenix,
they have to
go for core?
They got to spread out. They can't let Zeratul get much value off of that Q.
They get a kill.
X-Ray comes out. Isolation popping here too as well. Uther gets hit with Cocoon, but thanks to the Mighty Gust, they're able to get him out.
There's no way. And now they might actually lose. They might lose Eternal here. And yeah, Eternal is about to drop. They need to confirm the kill though. And they finally do. Down he goes, and all of a sudden Billy's on the run as well. I really think that Liquid overstepped massively here. They're gonna lose Sport Billy, they're gonna lose Norok. That's 3 down already. That is a big disaster here. Now we have no 20 on, we have on Uther, the Bulwark of Light actually taken, so he goes down. There is no redemption. I mean, I'm not quite sure what exactly Liquid was thinking here, to be honest with you.
Also, he needs to get out of here. Oh, he's actually gonna try and fly to the bottom lane, but here's the Dahaka waiting for
Dead on arrival.
That was an attempt. And now Monkeys, with a total of 5.
They're gonna end?
Are just gonna go straight to the top lane. Genji's here. Arcana's gonna have to pop off to clear all this up, but that seems impossible.
Yeah, it definitely does seem that way. We talked about it earlier that the Monkeys don't really have a composition that is famous for racing a core down, but now you have the Cocoon on Genji, so that keeps him into check. The shields are already gone. Blaze is back in 7 seconds, but that core is falling, and it's falling fast, and that's only 3 heroes. Zeratul is coming in at this point. He has Void Prism up. He could simply Void Prism them whenever they want to, and they're going for that. The core is going to fall here. The Monkeys are going to take game number 2. That's game. The series is tied.
And just like that, we are all tied up 1-1 here at HGC Europe. Really aggressive slash questionable call here from Team Liquid going straight for the core. I can see the thought process behind it. Sure, Void Prison is being down. You've just got to use the top left corner, but you are on a timer, and a really tight one at that.
Exactly, because not only is it's a 4 versus 5 against the core.
Yeah.
So if you get a kill, yes, I agree. You get the kill, you can make it work. But even with the wind tunnel that they had, I think the execution wasn't quite there, and the call itself already was quite ballsy. So I feel trying to control the map, bosses would have been up soonish, playing around that. Maybe even just going to attempt and take a second keep down would have been the safer play here. This series is just really weird to me because, again, we're coming in with the perception that the Monkeys are in a little bit of a... They're not really showing the same ambition that they showed in phase number 1. So they are just saying, okay, let's see what we can do here. Lacking a bit the motivation this time. Whereas on the other hand, Team Liquid has that drive to go to BlizzCon, towards the Western Clash. We heard in the interview earlier that says we feel really good right now. Arcana is performing well. Nuruk is coming into his own on the support role. And then you have a couple of moves on Tomb where you already say like, well, expected that to be a little bit cleaner. You go on to Cursed and you see similar decision making. I'm not quite sure where we are right now. This is a really interesting setup because it's far from what I expected. I'm happy to see that because the Monkeys are competitive at this point. But some of the calls that Liquid makes are odd.
For me, there is a bit of an odd call there. Sure, going for the core, but I like this new roster comes in here. You have the new support player playing in. You have Arcaner here, but still as a unit of 5, they still made that call together, right? Like that is always a good sign to see with the team coming in there feeling that confident, even though it didn't pan out. I don't know. We'll see more here. We have to actually hit a commercial breakout, but we'll get more thoughts from you. We'll get right back. Game number 3 up soon.